Now, before last year, when the student loan scheme of the federal government was announced, millions of Nigerian students already had difficulties furthering their education at higher schools, while many who have started studying were not, so sure that they would be able to complete their studies due to financial constraints to meet the obligations. In fact, many of such poor students had been withdrawing from their schools to pursue other careers in life, just as many potential higher school students did not bother to seek admission for lack of money. Now, the announcement of the scheme in 2023 was a welcome development, not only because the potential beneficiaries, that is, the poor students, would be able to overcome the most worrisome hurdle to their education advancement, but also because the program was scheduled to take off by September to October of the 2023 and 2024 academic session. It is therefore worrisome that in February 2024, months after students were expected to have started enjoying the loans, the scheme has not taken effect, and the federal government is only explaining how beneficiaries will access the funds. So this morning, we'll be talking intensively about the student loan scheme of the federal government with, of course, the president of the National Association of Nigerian Students, Pedro Obi. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning.
It's good to have you.
Pleasure.
And also we have in the studio Ima Isa. He is a management consultant and a public analyst. Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you.
Good morning, Nigeria.
All right, so let's start. I would want to take on the brain of the students in all of this. When these things, when it was announced, when the bill was passed, there was a lot of, go back and forth on the social media. A lot of people, especially, social media, we know largely has been represented by students, were against it, saying that most of these things might not even reach to them at the end of the day. So what is your take on all of that, Mr. Pedro?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, Nigeria, once again. You see, the student loan, when it came up, because of the situation in the country, and as a president of NANS, I've been able to get information from different part of the country. Students who receive calls, thousands of calls weekly from students crying for money and the rest of it. So, of course, it was during the last dispensation, the dispensation of President Usman Omar Barambu as NANS president, that the loan fund was, the act was signed into law by His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So, of course, it was a welcome development, and we feel it is going to be bridge the gap between the poor and the rich to ensure that there will be equal access to education. Because, of course, if an individual that is supposed to be in school is not in school because of funding, it's something that breaks our heart. Because naturally, normally, Nigerians, no matter your status, you are supposed to be at least that minimum. BXc, HND, you are supposed to have it. So anything that will bridge that gap is something that is welcomed by us, by the National Association of Nigerian Students. So, of course, you also see that various schools now, many schools are increasing school fees from skyrocketing fields. And also we have been on the management to say, look at the current economic situation of the country. It is unwise for us to do this at this point in time, taking note of the economic situation, the security challenges. Because the moment school fees are hiked, some people that got admission preceding may not even attend the school at all because of the fee. We have had various cases like that. So these are the issues, and I know with this loan scheme, it will bridge that gap and it go a long way to resolve some of these challenges.
All right, let's hear from Mr. Ima. Advanced countries, we see the USA and the UK giving student loan. But then one thing is a fact, people spend majority of their life paying back that loan. And that is one of the fears, from bodies like the ASU and all that. So what is your take on this student loan scheme?
Yeah, you see, the student loan is a good initiative from USA to United Kingdom to Australia, Canada, and Nigeria inclusive now. These are very humane and way of making life easy for parents that desire to educate their wards. But one good thing is this: system is being developed based on the peculiarity of the people behind it. UK developed their own loan, student loan, based on their peculiarity, their culture, and their antecedent. United States developed theirs based on their antecedent. So we expect Nigeria. So if you look at the act that brought the student loan, it was a repeal of the Student Bank, National Student Bank Act of 2004 that was repealed to make it National Education Trust Fund, which will now be the warehouse to the student loan scheme. Now, different processes in Nigeria, let me say a Nigerianized process. It has been drawn down to our own peculiarity, our own method. If you look at the UK, somebody after graduating, after 40 years, 50 years, the person is still paying. I recall Obama told us when he was the president that he paid the last loan as a senator. So now that was the fear of ASU. I'm drawing it to what ASU was saying, that somebody would have ended up all his life. You see, one of the reasons why those issue was put in that way is to make Americans, UK citizens, to stay in UK and work to develop their system. You know, instead of, okay, you graduate, boom, you run out of the country and you are going to Saudi Arabia, or you are going to Japan, you are going to China, even as a citizen of UK. So, but if you are owing a penny in that place, you have to stay there, work until you pay. It will make you to stay and make the system work. That was the rationale behind it. So Nigeria, now, we are now looking at it, okay, yes, is another avenue also to make Nigerian citizens also to stay.
So
You
it's like
stay
killing
here,
two
we
birds
give
with
you
one
loan,
stone.
you work and you pay. But our own method, you see that if you follow the act that established it, it's a little bit different from that of the UK and US. So I will encourage ASU that there's no need to fear, because before National Assembly came up with the act, the repeal, there was a public hearing where ASU was on ground. And every issue, complaint, and observations raised, I was privileged to be at the public hearing. Some of the issues that were raised were taken into cognizance. So you see that we only advise that the people that saddle with the responsibility of running this process will stay put and not deviate from the way it was designed. Then it will work for us. So now the question is, has it taken effect? As I learned from your introduction, that a set goal of September 2023 for the taking effect. But you see, we have a challenge in this part of the world. That act was signed, it was passed in the 9th Assembly. The president, President Muhammadu Buhari, could not have signed it because of, I don't know. Then President Bola Tinubu came in, and because it was part of his campaign promises, if you remember, you are a journalist, I know you are aware of that, because of it was part of his campaign promises that we are going to give loan to students so that there won't be reason why nobody should be in school. So on the 12th of June 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu put his signature to assent and making it a law. And they even went further to appoint Barrister Sawyer as the executive secretary of that fund, trust fund. So, and you see the running up and down, the here and there, trying to fix structure and, you know, harmonize differences and interests here and there, you know, I want to believe is the reason why the delay has occurred till now. But I learned recently, I spoke with some of the media aid to the president and all those things, and I was told that by the 21st, which is in the next 4 or 5 days of this February, the president is going to launch and open the portal for applications to begin to come in and the official takeoff of that project.
We hope that works. At the end of the day, is for, to cushion the stress and the fact that education is really important for students. So at this point, Pedro, let's talk about, these expectations of the student loan. Do you think that at that 21st, indeed, it would be set up? And if, of course, it does, is there any relationship between, the student body and the federal government or even the state government, universities, in order to synchronize the knowledge to make it more easier for students to get this?
Okay. You see, of course, we're expecting that by 21st, as have been announced, it will be unveiled. It was January that they said they're going to kick it off. Unfortunately, we didn't have it in January. We are expectedly, just like you said, trying to put up the structure to ensure that everything works fine. I'm aware the website and the creation of the website and all those, it takes a whole lot of texting from the back end and the rest of them to ensure that everything works fine. Synchronization between the different databases that is supposed to, fact check, like the JAM database and the rest of them. So I want to believe those were the reason why we couldn't have it by January. But now that a date has been set aside, which is 21st of February, we're expecting that all these things has been put in place by the management of the fund. So fine, we expect that no matter what, that 21st should remain sacrosanct, because already we are already having crisis in our campuses where schools are being shut down. Like just last week here, thereabout, Moayu, Michael Bara University of Agriculture was shut down because examination, they have started exam thereabout, but because of fee payment, most of the students couldn't pay, and the school has to be shut down. So, but if we have that alternative, that's the loan fund, obviously everybody will go there. So
Pedro, there is another fear, when it comes to the student loan, and that is unemployment rate. I mean, when we look at the advanced country that have been practicing the student loan initiative, they tend to have various employment jobs. People can easily get a job there. But then already in Nigeria, there is a large number of people that are still unemployed. Is there any fear, from the students of, putting themselves into collecting this loan and then not being able to start paying it at the earliest in order to get it done early?
Okay, thank you. You see, in fact, to me, the way I see this loan fund, maybe federal government may not have understand that part of it, but I feel it's going to be to the greater advantage of the country in terms of provision of jobs. Because you are my father, for instance, or as a mother to me, you borrowed me money, right? Expecting that I'm going to pay back by the time by the time I finish my school. You are supposed to be the one to train me to pass through that school. Now at the end of the day, you didn't train me, or you didn't see me through the school at the end of the day, because there's a caveat that I will have a job, or I will graduate before I can pay you the money, the 10 kobo or so that you gave to me. Now at the end of the day, you didn't see me through that school any longer. I didn't graduate at the same time. You don't expect me to give you that money that you borrowed, you gave to me, so to say, right? So I want to believe that at the end of the day, the ripple effect is going to be a positive for the employment ratio, employment rate, as far as the country is concerned. Because you see, the federal government will want to do everything possible, because they say post-NYC, you are supposed to, 2 years post-NYC, you are supposed to start paying. And federal government is not expected to come and be collecting money from who is not working. Who is going to pay? Who is going to bring, where is money going to come from? So he's going to end up making the federal government to do whatever they can to ensure that those people within that scheme will even have a job. You get it? That is the angle. Maybe federal government may not have known what they are going into, but that is what I feel is going to happen at the end of the day. It's going to be a positive ripple effect. Because I must have a job, like they said, I must have a job to pay. So if I don't have a job, where are you going to get the money from?
All right. I want to hear from...
So that is why personally, from the last dispensation, as the NANS president, the last president of NANS, I was with him throughout the administration. I was in support of this funding, the Education Trust Fund. So whatever that is going to make us make it better, because no matter what, we should try as much as to get things, when anything is starting, there may be some drawback and the rest of them. So, but my own, I have said to myself, and today as the NANS president, anything that will make us to make that fund better, more efficient, operative, I am in support of it, because I know what it means to go to school without you having your school fees. Even as president, I know the cost we receive.
Indeed. I mean, if anybody, for everyone that has been in school, definitely you've seen someone whom, if you think you're struggling, then you definitely see someone who is struggling more than you. And one way or another, there is this kind of way you assist people. But then definitely this student loan would benefit kind of way to the student. But anyway, I want to hear your thoughts as a public analyst. At the end of the day, student loan is like an investment, you know. So definitely we are hoping that it would bring more remuneration to the federal government. We want money to come back to the economy, considering the state of the economy and the so-called empty treasury that we have. So if at all now the student loan should be given, we always have issues of implementation. Bills will be passed, but then the implementation process would always have an issue. Do you think that the federal government has put the things in place, considering typical example of insecurity where it's hard to even trace a phone number? So do you think it would be easy for them to have the data of all these students that this loan have been given to, and then it would definitely, they'll find a way for it to come back to the economy's treasury?
Okay, thank you very much. I did not want to express my fear when it came to this program, because I am one of the incurable believers of good things happening in Nigeria. I don't want to be among the people that are pessimistic in terms of when federal government is bringing an idea that is noble as student loan. But you see, we have a challenge. I don't want to say problem as a people. This time is not about federal government, but about the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where, let's take example from the noble idea about COVID-19 grant and loans that was given by NISA under CBN. Today is a problem, a big problem. The MD of NISA, I'm sure by now he's still sleeping in EFCC because they did not put structures together, and half of, if not 90% of the people that collected the loan are nowhere to be found, and some are not even willing to pay back. You know why? Corruption. When the loan was to be given, somebody that is to apply for 1 million naira eventually was given 500,000 naira and made to sign for 1 million. The remaining 500,000 naira is gone to wherever only God knows. And how do you expect that person to? So that was the fear that I was having, and I did not want to express that fear, knowing that this is a good idea, right? So I want to advise the federal government. Barrister Sawyer, who is the ES of this, is somebody that over the time, you know, he has experience in management and all those things. I want to believe that he would have put his team together and come up with some of these lacunas that are obvious that is going to happen. Because like the Mr. President has just said here, you cannot ask somebody that, you know, I saw the condition that you must bring somebody who is from level 14 in civil servant, must have somebody who is a lawyer and all those things. Those are just mere this thing, because you are giving loan to this person. This one is only guaranteeing, because at the end of the day, the person that was giving the loan ought to pay. And you cannot expect him to pay for what he has consumed, and there is no method, there is no any avenue. For instance, now an academic section that's supposed to be 4 years program, because of ASU, because of whatsoever university internal problem, the person is, and wicked lecturers. All of us here, if you have passed through Nigerian University, you must have experienced it. I was supposed to have graduated at a 500 level, and I extend to almost 600. So almost everybody had experienced that. When are you finishing? Before NYC will even mobilize you to camp, you must have spent another 3 years at home. When are you going to pay? So all those things need to be put in place. And another thing that I will reach out across to my friends and contemporaries that are aides to the president, that are working with the president, I'm going to put this to them so that they will bring it before Mr. President. This student holiday engagement, you go to UK, you can work during holiday, you go to work. So CBN, NMPC, NIMASA, Port Authority, Custom, that have a large financial institutions and all those things, can come up with these policies in collaboration with the trust fund, that students after holiday, instead of staying at home and start joining cultists and start joining Yahoo boys and start joining all those things, bring your idea. 3 months you work, out of the money that you would have earned, you would have 20% of it would have been kept to help you to pay your loan. You understand? These are creative idea. If they have, and I'm going to speak to them as I promised, that this, if you bring it, is going to be, and it will even, you see that it will help the system. Because they said an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Indeed.
Half of our students, I was a student before, during holiday, you see that some people are staying at home. They are not engaged and they are eating lunch from their parents and all those things and constituting nuisance everywhere. But if this policy through the office of the ES is being put in place, that as you are running for holiday, you are going that 3 months or 2 months, you are going to be engaged. The student work in different small businesses that they will engage you, like they do interns, they do IT, they do CWIS, is it CWIS or how do they call it? So at the end of the day, you now see that it will engage the student. They are coming back with experience, and at the same time they come back with something in their pocket that will not make them even put pressure on their parents, and they have something set aside to help them to start the payment of this loan. If not, I'm afraid to say it might be failure even from the beginning.
Is there no fear, apart from, this general, that it would move from loan to grant if the possible things are not put in place? Like you made mention earlier of people bring just, they'll tell you guarantor, just a civil servant who could actually lose his, as in retire at any point in time. So is there no fear of that particular situation?
I don't want it to become a grant, because if you say loan, yes, it's already a non-interest loan, but the money that have been given to you, for instance, now the president, maybe he's in year 4, so he would have need just the school fees of the first and second semester of 400 level. Somebody at year 2 would have need school fees for about 4 semesters. So you now see that, okay, if the school fees, if he is going to Delta State University, Abraka, and the school fees is 200,000, for instance, per session, so you would have need like 600,000 or 800,000. So by the time you divide it into the segment that they are going to bring, and then say, okay, this is how much you are going to pay in the next 30 years or 20 years, maybe 20,000 naira every month. So now, they have to follow through, get the data, get everything. But where I say the fear is just ordinary linking your SIM card to NIN so that they have your national database. Half of Nigerian SIMs are not linked. If not, kidnappers will not have been having their way today. It is the same Nigerians, a young fellow who is selling recharge card, another person will come and link his NIN, and they will cut your NIN and preload it on a SIM card and sell it to other person. And you now see that this person did not link his NIN and the SIM card is still working. So that is where I say the problem is about us, Nigerians, because I don't want the loan to be converted into grant. If it is converted into grant, then there won't be money to give to other people.
Indeed.
And we still have more younger ones coming up. Since I graduated from the university, I can tell you over 4 million people had passed through university system after me. So if the money ends with the 4 million, what of the remaining 8 to 10 million that will be coming?
Indeed.
That means there will be
That's
nothing.
another
So we need to
question
work
there.
on it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's talk to Pedro. Now, there's been a speculations that the executive secretary of the scheme has not really reached out to student bodies. So I want to hear from you now. Has there been any kinds of sit down with the body, with the secretary of the scheme, and also, or anybody from the scheme, to talk about how this loan would reach to the student?
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, the ES, like you said, Barrister, is a very nice person, and obviously he knows what he's doing, and he has done that. The scheme has done that, and we have contributed our quota to ensure that the thing works out perfectly well. Like the issues of bringing guarantors and the rest of them, we find those things as they're irrelevant as far as we're concerned, because like level 12 or so, in my village, for instance, where I come from, how many level 12 civil servants are you going to find there? Not just in my village. There are so many units like that, so many hamlets and the rest of it, where they have people going to school. So the question is, how many are you going to say? How many barristers post 10-year core or whatever are you going to find in those kind of places? So are you saying those people should not benefit from the scheme? And these are the actual people that need it, not the people in the urban who even have their parents doing well, or the urban areas, semi-urban area, who have people doing well. But the interior villages, the hinterlands, the creeks, these are the places. How many of these people, how many of these civil servants at this level do you have in those places, in the Niger Delta area? So the northern areas, down to the villages, interior villages. So these are the reasons why we said is if truly we want these things to get to the right people. Because you can't say somebody whose parent is in level 12 or who's that doing well is the person that needs the
and
funding.
let's not forget now, people are scared to be guarantors, for someone else, considering the insecurity.
Of course. So that is why we have presented those things to them and said, see, and I'm very sure, like what they said, the scheme itself, they are doing their best to even send this thing to the National Assembly to repeal some of those obnoxious clauses, so that at least it will be more smooth and efficient to operate. So we feel that for now, what we have seen so far with respect to the ES and this team, they have shown that truly they have the interest of Nigeria, not just the student, because every student will grow 4 or 5 years and leave the system as a student and become part of the country, the society, and start contributing to nation development. So from what I've seen, the management have shown concern, have shown that truly they believe in nation building, and they are committed to ensure that they do all they can to ensure that the system, the fund work efficiently for Nigerians. That is what I've been able to say. And virtually everything that we presented to ensure that the scheme works efficiently were well noted, and it's something that gladdens some of us. And we feel the scheme, because like you said about changing to grant or the rest of them, no. And that's why I said, whether federal government likes it or not, this scheme will push them to make job more available. Because like the ES said, if you give a loan to somebody that is not going to return it, it means that one person next year is going to lose a slot. So it will continue to ensure that the team works efficiently, and there is job for people that is going to. In fact, at the end of the day, I'm afraid that if some people that doesn't even pass through this scheme may not even the people that pass through the scheme may even have opportunity to have more job. That doesn't have job easier, so that they can, so that they can pay back. So who knows? I don't know if you understand. So I want to believe that definitely this whole scheme is going to be, the ripple effect is going to be positive, and I want the entire country to support the scheme. I started campus tour last 2 weeks, thereabout. I've been moving from campus to campus, from state to state, Zamfara, Katsina, Kano, Kaduna, Osun, just like that, moving from state to state to at least sensitize our people to let them understand that look at what is currently on ground, and no matter what, you can go to school, no matter your financial status. You get, just yesterday, a student sent me from Jigawa State, sent me a message that their fee, whatever, there is a fee or charge that is to pay 35,000 or so. He's left with 15,000 and the rest of. These are the kind of messages we receive. You can imagine what the politicians, the senators, the House of Rep and Assemblies will be receiving. If, as NAS president, I will be receiving those kind of calls on a daily basis. So it's something that, for me, and the entire Nigerian student, I feel it's something that we should support and do everything to make the scheme more efficient, more better. I want to believe that it's not something that people will run away from. Also, in the course of engagement, we have also seen that, from what I've seen, what the team, the ES and his team has done is something that I know it will be very, very efficient and it will work for Nigeria. Because the money, the loan is not going to be paid to the student. It's not going to be paid to the student account. Now, if you apply, for instance, in my school, Delta State University, Abraka today, as a student, if I apply, the database, they will synchronize themselves and it will be, okay, what is the fee for my department, for my level? I haven't imputed those data. It will not generate my school fees. So I am not at liberty to say if the school fees is saying, the school is saying my school fees is 200,000, for instance. I'm at liberty to say, no, I have 50,000 my own. I'm going to take 150,000 from this loan. So I will now impute 150 and like this, the board will automatically generate and they will pay the school. They will pay it to the school. So I am on my own is going to show evidence to the school that the loan scheme has paid for me. Okay, this is my 50,000 that I also paid for myself. But if you also need the entire money to be paid, you can also pay. That's the scheme can also pay for you. And what the scheme, that's why I said the scheme is actually working, doing everything to ensure that the work. If you listen to the ES talk, he will understand a man who believes in making sure that things work perfectly. You see, where he was like, we will do everything possible. If we are to pay, for instance, my school, they say my fee this session is 200,000 for no reason, because of that scheme. For no reason will my school come back and tell me that my departmental due or my faculty due or the other charge is another 10,000 or is another 10,000.
Okay, so this could curb the extortion of students.
Yes. So you see somebody, so long it's just like once you get that loan, it's your ticket to write your exam. That is what it is. Once that there's evidence that I have paid through the loan scheme, you can't stop me from writing exam any longer. Because you know what it means. Because if I'm having another 10,000 charge or whatever to pay, you can stop me from writing exam. I'm not seeing my result. But what the scheme is saying that so long with the conversation they're going to be having with the management, once you say your fee is 3 naira, once that 3 naira has been paid by the scheme, you cannot stop Pedro from writing his exam. Because you can't say from anywhere. What are you going to say? That the scheme has paid. So it means that is the fee. And I have paid and I have paid. So that's why I said the kind of caliber of people I see in that, these young people, young chap who wants the best for the country, the kind of reasoning, the kind of ideas that are coming out from how they're going to synchronize with JAMB to ensure that there is no double application or somebody will not apply for you and the rest of them. So
now, Pedro, all of these points, is it made easy for the students? Nigerians know that whenever you're applying for something, there is so much stress coming with that kind of thing. So based on your relationship, sitting down with this, the scheme body, is there any plan to make it simplify?
Oh, yeah, of course. Like we some of those issues were raised. The issue of too much uploading of documents, upload this, upload that. Yes, of course, there may be some document that you need to at least prove that you are a student. But that is why I said tech has also made some of these things easier. The issue of synchronizing with JAM database and the rest, when you impute your JAM, you are supposed to generate your data from JAM. And also there are some people who are also not what is it called? Some people who didn't pass through JAM, but that's the
DE.
Not really direct entry. No, postgraduate is not part of the scheme. That's part-time.
Okay.
Because they are also there is no discrimination. Even part-time students are to be taken care of. You get the point. So maybe part-time who didn't pass through JAM can also. So there are also mechanisms they are putting in place to ensure that they can generate those data. So tech, to an extent, is going to solve a whole lot of issues to ensure that the application process is going to be swift.
So I want to ask this. In all of this that's happening, is there not fear, for you to hear what ASU are saying? Because they might have their own reason. And I want to know if NANS have had a sit down with ASU to hear why there's a fear for the implementation of this loan scheme.
You see, some of these things has to do with ideological leaning. Okay, like yes, I've been able to also have cause to a conversation with the ASU. So of course the issue is antecedent. The fear is majorly antecedent. What is the guarantee that this thing is going to work? Why not convert these things to grant and the rest of them? Now we are running away from subsidy. We want to start something again that we may come back.
As subsidy.
Are you getting the point? Before now, there were bursaries and the rest of them everywhere. But as I'm talking to you, it's just only few states that are still paying bursary. So anything that will make you say, for instance, we have 2,000 students in the country today. You say you want to pay bursary. You need that 200, out of that 2,000 students, more than 1,005 needs that bursary. But at the end of the day, it cannot get to them. It cannot get to them all. Because of probably the budget and the rest of them, the bursary cannot get to them. So what now happen to those people that it will not get to? Are they going to stop going to school? So that is why I feel if the loan is going to make this thing efficient and make it more accessible to the vast majority, in fact, to everybody, because the idea is that it's going to get to everybody that needs it. So if it is what is going to make it get to everybody that needs it, fine.
You're good with that.
You understand? And to me, again, this issue of making sure that federal government, because like I said earlier, that I don't even know if probably government has not thought about that side. But I know it's going to be more beneficial to Nigeria in terms of provision of job, because government will be forced to provide job.
In order to get back their
yes.
money.
Because if you don't provide job, how will you going to do next? For instance, you budget 3 million for this year in the budget for the student loan, 3 million. Next year, it means that you are not going to budget just 3 million. Because for those people that have applied this year, you have same number, virtually same number of them that will be in 200 level that will still reapply. Then the 100 level will come to apply again. You have doubled it. When it gets to year 3, it means 3 sets is going to apply. Just like that. So it means that you need a whole lot of money for this thing. So we cannot afford to go the way of start subsidy again. At the end of the day, we will not get used to it. Get used to the money, free money or whatever. At the end of the day, it is important that government should do some of these things for the citizenry. It is part of the government responsibility. But also, we must also look at what is sustainable. What is sustainable? Because it's not just enough. I wouldn't want this thing to be jamboree. I wouldn't want it to just be at the end of the day, everybody will clap. President Bola has started it. Oh, thank God, thank God. Next year, we'll start having hiccups. Next 2 years, we'll start going forth and back. So, but if people will not appreciate it because it has started this way, and you see that you are in 200 level, you are getting it, you are in 300 level, there's no story. You will get used to it and say, fine, thank God. At the end of the day, what is going to be this thing? But federal government, give me job. I will pay you your money. Like he said about this NISA and the rest of them.
Indeed.
What was the problem? People collected money. Politics. You are a councillor in so village. You bring the line. This. So they will, at the end of the day say, give me 10% or give me 20%. Somebody gives you that. But in this scheme, as we are NANS, we don't want to be involved in the fund.
But is there no fear?
Nothing concerns us with
is
the
there
money.
no fear that schools would improve money, increase the money when they know that, of course, there would be a loan, for students? Is there no fear of increment?
No, now the federal government versus the school, so they will have to face themselves.
Of course, but aside that, the question is: are they not increasing fees? Like as I'm talking to you, there is fee increment everywhere. We are talking every now and then. Hawuchi this university increment of school fees everywhere. But of course, we no matter what, if you can't just arbitrarily increase fees,
yes,
we will continue to confront those people, no matter what. You can't say because federal government is going to give me loan, so are you going to kill me? Instead of paying for 200,000, for instance, at the end of the 4 years, I'm going to pay, my entire fee will be 800,000 or 1 million, for instance. Then you're going to be telling me if I've increased my fee to 500,000, which will now be 500 times. That is about...
which would be huge.
You understand?
Right, Ima, based on everything that is happening now, I want to hear your closing remark, your take on this, and if there is any fear that, this thing would definitely have hiccup in the future.
Yes, thank you very much. He has said a lot of things, and I just want to pick 1-2 things about that. The ES and the team must have engaged with the student body, but they have not engaged with Nigerians. Because what he is saying now, some of them, I'm just hearing it for the first time. And perhaps I'm a father also, who have a child in the school. You understand? So I want to appeal to the ES, and like I always make promises anytime I have opportunity of being on air, and I will fulfill. I will reach across to him if I have to get a call or write a letter to him. Engage Nigerian citizens. We have media-friendly media houses that you will go out and speak to people. Let them know, so that it will clear off rumor and hearsay.
There's been a lot of rumors.
Because if not that he as an authority is saying it, 90% of people out there will now be saying, they are not saying, they are just saying anything. They are just, somebody will even come up on Twitter and just write rubbish entirely from his own mind. You understand? So these are the things I want to appeal to the management of the fund. Engage with Nigeria more. Engage with Nigerians more. And also, I have said it before, please, let there be opportunities, even right from while the student is still a student. Don't let them be at home during holiday. You are putting your money. It's like a bank, because it's a loan process. It's also a bank. This thing, you see a bank manager calling you 9 p.m. or Oga, permit me to speak pidgin. Oga, I just want to greet you. It's not because the bank manager like you, but because over 10 billion of his money is in your hand. And you now see that even the bank manager will begin to call you and say, there's this opportunity like this. If you can bring idea, what he is doing, he is not doing because he like you. He is doing to help you so that you'll be able to pay back the loan, and he will have more money to give to more person and give to you also. So we are appealing to federal government, create opportunity for this student, even while they were students. Don't wait until they graduate, and which they are not even sure. And also, I want the management team to begin to engage with students to deconstruct their mind. The University Commission came up with a curriculum some time ago when we were in the university, when they brought entrepreneurship, and they now begin to teach entrepreneurship even to medical students, even to sociology department, that okay, now if you graduate from medical school, how can you create business around your medical experience? So let them begin to engage students on how to make money, even while, because this issue of somebody studying political science and he's studying and telling you the story of how Nnamdi Azikiwe and Awolowo contested the election and how does it make the thing to become money in his pocket. So, but if you bring entrepreneurship, you now bring the politics, and now begin to say, this is how you can make money through politics, through leadership engagement, through political engagement, you can make money. See, you now see that that student would have opportunity to pay back even his loan before he graduated from the university, or while he just graduate. And it's not everybody that will get white collar job. Create opportunity for SME, small and medium scale. I have been out of university for the last time that I collected my certificate, and I'm saying here, the University of Abuja is hearing, it's just about 7 months ago, my certificate. And this is over how many years ago? And I even collected because I want to do masters. You understand? But because I am using my hand, one of the radio station will always say certificate, because this is where the system is going. He talks about technology. Technology today, AI, artificial intelligence, robotic design, all manners of things. Engage your mind. Today somebody will sit on his bed, you organize his event for him, his 70th birthday, and he is just to come and enjoying himself. At the end of the day, you are going home with some cool million in your hand. But you see, when you are waiting to get white collar job into NNPC, Oga in no day, since I was born, I've never seen NNPC advertise for employment.
Indeed.
So let Nigerian University and the loan engage with students and disabuse their mind from what they call white collar job. No be everybody go get employment, but everyone can be reached by your idea, by service, by what you are bringing on board. I think that is the major things I just want to say. There is a lot of work for the scheme, the fund management to do. Engage with Nigeria more, use media, use community engagement, then work with university and the university management to disabuse student mind from white collar job. Come up with what your hand can do. Create small opportunity where they can. So for instance, as a management person, when we have event, we always go and get some of these university students to come and be usher. When we organize conference or seminar, for instance, now we bring them and they serve as ushers. That day they would have their 3 square meal to eat. Then when they are going with 30, 40,000 naira or 20,000 naira as the negotiation may be. That day they have something. So you can imagine in a month when we organize 3, 4, 5 seminars and we bring them, that kind of person will not even go back to his or her father for money and all those things. But on that same university campus where we are bringing students to come and serve as usher, somebody is raising his shoulder and is waiting to be employed into NNPC. Or guy, you know, they work like that. So please, let's talk to Nigerian students and engage them more, so that at the end of the day, when you come out, the scheme would have helped you take pressure of no school fees, or money has not come to your hand as at the time they are asking for your school fees. The loan would have helped you to take care of that one. You concentrate on your study, concentrate on coming up with idea that will help your finance and your life towards nation development.
Well, gentlemen, we hope that, of course, the necessary stakeholders, are watching this, and we hope this would be fruitful, for the Nigerian students and the nation's economy in general. Thank you so much for joining us, the NAN president of National Association of Nigerian Students. We appreciate your time, Pedro Obi.
Thank you very
And there is
much.
so much expectation on you, just so you know.
Absolutely.
And thank you also, Ima Isa, a management consultant and a public analyst. We appreciate your
Thank you for
input. Of course.